My name is Joe Peroni, and this is the Rise Above Project. And today I want to look at some job numbers to see how well our economy is doing. Now, I'm going to need to look at the ADP National Employment Report for September. Why? Well, the first thing is that the government right now is shut down. So there are no numbers from the Bureau of Labor. And also, Donald Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics because he didn't like the numbers that he was getting. So does that make sense to anybody? So if you don't like how the numbers are going, instead of trying to figure it out to make it better, what you do is you fire the messenger. So that's basically what he did. So we don't have numbers right now from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. But luckily we have the ADP, the National Employment Report. From them we can definitely look at. But let's go back a little bit. Let's start from May. So in May, we only gained 19,000 jobs, which is not much. In June, we actually lost 13,000 jobs. In July, it wasn't terrible. We gained 79,000 jobs. And in August, we only gained 22,000 jobs. So looking through that 4-month period, the job growth from May through August was down 75% from the year before. Now, obviously, we were told that the economy is going to improve under Donald Trump. And what we're looking at here is that in terms of job growth, it's gone down 75%. And again, I know people, they look at different news sources, that they don't actually tell you things, but you can look this stuff up yourself. You don't have to listen to some Fox News or MSNBC to tell you this. You can look it up yourself and find out. And those are just the numbers. So in terms of job growth, we've gone down 75% in 1 year. That's just a fact. If you don't like it, I can't help you with that. But let's look at the September report, again, through the ADP, because right now the Bureau of Labor Statistics is basically not in business. So their report says that in September, we are now down 43,000 jobs, which is catastrophic. So who knows where this is going to go? But again, if we have somebody in office who they're going to kill the messenger and they don't want to look at these numbers, or they don't want the United States citizens to see this because they might complain too much, we're not really going to be able to fix this very much. And I'm going to show you some other numbers because I'm not so sure that they actually do want to fix this in the first place. So let's look at some other numbers. This will give you a little bit more of a breakdown of what's going on. So in terms of small business, where there's 1 to 19 employees, jobs have gone down 19,000. In businesses where there's employees of 20 to 49 employees, they're down 21,000. So let's look at some mid-sized businesses where there's 50 to 249 people that are employed. And there we see that there's been a decrease of 11,000 jobs. In businesses where they employ 250 to 499 people, they're down 9,000 jobs. But here's where it gets interesting. If you have big business where they have over 500 employees, they've increased 33,000. Now, that doesn't make up for the job losses in the other sectors, but what it is showing is that we're starting to be a very stratified economy here, where the poor are getting poorer, the middle class are shrinking almost to nothing, and the rich get richer. Now, there's a lot of reasons for this happening. We shouldn't do this I'm not going to do the whole show on it today. But let's just say that Republicans for a long time have been trying to break unions and organize labor. And they've done a good job of that. One of the things they did a good job of is actually having a lot of people that are in unions vote against unions. I mean, that's what happened in the last election. A lot of these people voted for Donald Trump. So on the one hand, I don't want to see America do poorly, and I do want to see a very strong middle class. However, most of these people voted away their power. A lot of them didn't support the Democrat side. They supported Republicans who are literally trying to get rid of organized labor. So in that sense, I don't care. You get what you vote for, and you need to feel enough pain in order to make a better decision next time. The other thing that's important is a lot of people talk about the Republicans being better for business. And in some ways that's true. So if you have a big business, and before the tax rate was 35%, it's down to 21% now. And it's 21% across the board, which sounds really great if you're a millionaire, right? If you run a big business and you have like 500 employees. But what if you have a small business? What if you're a personal trainer? What if you're a therapist? What if you're a hairdresser? What if you're anything that's running a small business? Well, your tax rate now is also 21%. Now, that might sound pretty good to somebody. They'll say, well, 21% is not bad because before it was 35%. That's not true. It was 35% only for that very top branch of people. So what was the tax rate for small business before? Even when Obama was in there or Biden was in there, it was 15%. So if you have a small business, your corporate tax just went from 15% to 21%. So what does this say? It says that rich people pay a lot less in taxes now. And if you're a struggling person, if you're on that bottom rung or middle class, you just got screwed. And that's what you probably voted for. So let's move on. Let's show some more details of what types of jobs were lost and where were they lost. Because I find this very interesting as well. So when we look at the industry of natural resources and mining, the jobs have actually increased by 4,000. Now, of what I know about mining, I've got a lot of clients over the years. They're from rural areas, and a lot of them are miners. And of course, in the rural areas, they're very Republican. So it's going to look really good to them that the economy is doing well, right? There's more mining jobs, and they're in rural areas, so they're Republican anyway. So they probably are cheering this type of thing. However, let's take a look at some more industries. So we have construction. We talk about this all the time, that we need more housing. Well, construction has gone down by 5,000 jobs. So when Trump was talking about being able to expand and to build all this, it's not, it's shrinking. He also is very big on manufacturing, that he was going to have the tariffs and that was going to bring more things back to the United States and it was going to increase manufacturing jobs. Well, that's not true. It's down 2,000 and it was higher under Biden. In the services sector, we're looking at trade, transportation, and utilities. That's down 7,000 jobs. Information, that's up 3,000 jobs. Financial activities, down 9,000. Professional and business services, down 13,000. Education and health services, up 33,000, which makes sense. I don't think anybody in the health field is going to have difficulty with their job. I'm pretty sure there's going to be always a job available for them. Leisure and hospitality, down 19,000. Here's something that I can speak about. I'm from Las Vegas. Over and over again, I hear this from people. It's like, it's great that there's no tax on tips. Great, but they're not getting tips anymore. And that's for a lot of reasons. Okay, one of them is because, again, big business is very greedy. You come to Las Vegas now, where parking used to be free, and why wouldn't it be free? You're literally going there to gamble money away, which is you're guaranteed to lose if you play long enough, but that's not good enough. So now they're charging between $40 to $50 to park. And so where do you think that extra money goes? The $40 to $50 goes to the casino, and that $40 to $50 that people are spending, that's less money for the people that are on the lower or middle class range, because people are not going to be giving out tips as often, and they're already going to be in a bad mood. And so they take it out on the workers who actually need it. The other thing that's happening is the way Donald Trump talks about foreign people. Let's say Canadians, for example. He's always going after Canada. There's been a huge reduction in people from Canada wanting to actually come to here and spend money. They don't want to come to Las Vegas and spend money. that makes sense. When people treat you bad, they talk about you poorly, you're not going to want to come here, and there's going to be other places you'd rather go. And so what's happening is that all of the casinos right now are slow, or slower than usual, let's say. And what do? They amp up the money even more. They make things more expensive to screw the locals, and because they're trying to make up the difference. So overall, it's not a good experience for anybody anymore. And they're losing money. The workers are losing money. So yes, in leisure and hospitality, which is a good way to judge things, by the way, because you're looking at, let's say, entertainment, you're looking at people going to bars. Your average person, if they have some extra money at the end of the week or at the end of the month, they want to go out and do something like that. They want to spend time and hang out with their friends and do little things like this. But what we're finding is that they're not doing it. And because of that, those places are now having to lay off and fire people. And then here it says other services also down 16,000. So really the only thing that has increased here is natural resources and mining has gone up. And in terms of overall of who's employed more people, it's only been businesses with employees that have over 500 people there. So what you're doing, you're looking at places like Walmart, who they employ a lot of people, but they don't pay a working wage. And so what happens with that? What happens with that is that those businesses are employing more and more people because you can't have these mom and pop places anymore for the reasons I told you. They actually pay more taxes than the big businesses do. And so they can't make it. So a lot of places, let's say like Walmart, are hiring people at wages where you can't make a living. And so now you have to access welfare. And who pays into welfare? Again, regular people, middle class. And so what happens is that essentially, if you're a middle class person, you are paying the wages for people at Walmart. If Walmart paid a working wage, then everybody else would also get an increase in their wages because their taxes wouldn't be so high going towards people that can't afford anything. And the reason why they can't afford anything, again, is because they're not being paid a wage that's livable. And Trump would say, well, we want to get rid of fraud and waste. These people aren't working. That's not true. More than 50% of people on welfare, they have full-time jobs. So let me leave it at that. I could go on forever about this, but let's just take a look at this and just be honest. I don't care what TV station you listen to. I don't care about any of that. Let's just go with the real numbers, and the real numbers show that we're down about 75%. Actually, it's more than that, because we were down 75% in terms of job growth. That was before the new monthly job report, where we're down by 43,000. So as we look at this overall, Trump talked about that the economy was going to improve because supposedly it was so bad before. But let's be honest, the unemployment rate is going up. Jobs are slowing down. Inflation is going up. Facts are facts. Do with it whatever you like. My name is Joseph Peroni. This is the Rise Above Project. Please subscribe and tell a friend. Thank you.